Hello, everyone. My name is Kurt Turnison, and I'm the founder and CEO of RiskRevu. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to take a look at RiskRevu. I appreciate it. So just to give you a little bit of background, I am an independent agent. I have been an agent for over 15 years, specializing in high net worth personal insurance. And about 5 years ago, I started to recognize how much time I was spending on the phone, gathering information from clients. And I said, in today's world, there's got to be a more efficient, easier, more customer-friendly way to gather this information. So I went to work and doing some research, and ultimately I found smart forms. And I started testing out smart forms on my own for about 2 years. I built my own forms, used them with my own clients, mostly high net worth, some middle market as well, some commercial. And I found that not only were they saving me time and getting me more information, but my clients enjoyed using them as well. They were filling them out at 2 a.m. in the morning, 10 p.m. at night, when they had time to do it. And it was saving them time as well. So after 2 years of using these forms myself, and also talking to other agents and seeing that they were building their own forms, I said, maybe there's got to be a solution out there for this. And at that point, there wasn't. So I said, I got to build this because other agents are going to benefit from this as well. So I got to work building it. We hired developers, and today we've been in business about 3.5 years, have 57 agencies utilizing the platform, and 270 agents within those agencies using the forms as well. And we're growing very quickly. So I'm excited to have you here today to show you RiskRevu and the smart forms. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box or hold them till the end, and we'll do some question and answer at that point. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a quick example to kind of show you the workflow. So when someone logs into RiskRevu, first of all, this screen that you're looking at right here is the dashboard. This is the first screen they see when they log in. So the example I want to give is a client called or a prospect called me a couple months ago saying, hey, I'm buying a home in Connecticut and I need home, auto, valuables, umbrella, all of it. I said, great. And we had a little conversation, but then ultimately I said, well, I need to gather some information from you in order to provide you with a proposal. So I said, no problem. I said, I could do it one of two ways. We can sit on the phone for 30 minutes and do it now, or I can send you an email with a link to a form. You fill out the form and hit submit, and then all the information will come directly to me. He said, send me the form. I'm at the hospital right now. I can't talk. So I said, that's great. I went over to my email program. I got his email. I have a form email that I already have in the system, so it makes it a little bit faster there. Once I had his email, I then went back to RiskRevu. I went to the forms page, share forms, which is our library of forms. And this is where I went to find the form. Now, this particular prospect wanted a package of insurance, home, auto, valuables, umbrella. So in the keyword search, I searched for a package form. And that brought up all of our package forms. And so in this case, he just wanted home, auto, umbrella, and valuables. So I'm going to use our general package form right here. We have one for Florida, California, one for multiple homes, one with watercraft included, but I'm just going to use this one right here. So I'm going to click copy. That copies the link to that form. And then I'm going to paste it in the email, just like that. And then hit send. So that sends it over to the prospect. Prospect sees the email, clicks on the link, clicks on the email, clicks on the link, and that brings them right to the form that they're going to be completing. And so this is the experience that the prospect is going to see. They see a picture of the agent, background image of the agent's choice, the agency logo, contact information, social media links, a brief bio, and then on the left, they can start filling out the form. Very simple fields, phone number fields, single text fields, email fields. We have date fields with date pickers that come up. And there is also a lot of conditional logic built into these forms. And that was just an example. In this question, if they answered yes, these questions pop up. If they answered no, then no additional questions would pop up. So, and then the next section here is where they customize the quote. So this client wanted home, so no condo, no renters, valuables, auto, and umbrella. So they just removed the questions that were irrelevant to them. And now all they have to do is fill out the rest of the form. Their address, are they purchasing the home? Is their primary residence? Have they lived there for more than 3 years? Is there a fire hydrant? Will they do a renovation? You get the picture. All the questions that are important in underwriting a risk are here. And there's a lot of conditional logic to streamline that the form to make it more efficient for the client. But at the same time, gathering as much information as possible to make our job as agents easier and more accurate. Okay, so I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And here at the bottom, we have a section called Documents and Comments. And this section is on 95% of our forms, I would say. And here, the prospect can upload files. They can put in additional remarks. They can tell you how they heard about you. And they click sign off on a disclaimer and a consumer disclosure. The disclaimer just says this is a tool to gather information. No coverage will be bound. The disclosure says that the agent will be running a motor vehicle report potentially and an insurance bureau score as part of this proposal process. And it gets the prospect's approval to email and text them pertinent information. So they click agree there. From there, they can hit submit if they're done. They can also hit save and continue if they want to save it and come back to it later. They'll get an email with a link. Or they can hit, or if the agent wants to pre-fill the form, they can hit agent save and continue. And you saw up at the top, I put some information in. So I'm going to click agent save and continue. From there, that gives me the ability to copy a link to that saved form. And then I could also send an email with that link to the client as well. If I wanted to pre-fill some of that information ahead of time, if I had the declarations pages or I knew some information that I could put in, makes the prospect's job a little bit easier. Okay, so then now I'm going to jump over to a filled out form. So here's an example of a filled out form. Once the client fills in everything, they have all that information in and they want to submit, they hit submit. Thank you for completing the form. That's what they see. And then the agent will get an email with a notification saying you have received a new risk review response. And so they can either click this link to view the response, or there's a PDF attached to the email with all of the data in it. So the agent can then forward it on to a colleague. If they're doing the marketing, they can attach it to their management system or send it to a virtual assistant who's doing the quoting for them. However their workflow works. The data is also available back in the RiskRevu account. So if the agent wants to go view it in RiskRevu, they can go to the button Responses, and then they will see all of their responses. And here they can click View to view the data. And they can do it like that, copy and paste it different places if they need. They can print it to PDF. And they can also edit these forms. So client fills out, or prospect fills out the form, and they forget to put in their driver's license number. They send it to you by email. If you want to have it all in the same form, you can click Edit, Continue. That'll create a copy of that form that is now editable, and you can go back into that form and change whatever information you need to. Okay, so that's just a quick example of that. In addition, the forms are saved. If the client saves the form, you will have access to that saved form. If you, as the agent, save the form, you'll have access to that saved form as well by clicking Saved Forms. So you click Save Forms, and then here you have a list of all the saved forms. You can copy the link to the form, you can go back and view and edit it, or you can delete the form if you don't want to have it in the system anymore. Okay, so that is that. Let's see, there's a question. Okay, for the end, got it. Okay, so then let's jump back to the Share Forms library, because I want to tell you we have 3 different types of forms. The first type are evaluation or risk evaluation forms. These are basically renewal questionnaires. And so we have an annual personal risk evaluation. If I click on that, it brings me right to the form so you can preview it or pre-fill it and save it. And this form asks questions like, did you install an alarm system in the last 12 months? Do you employ risk management strategies like a water shutoff valve? Is your home owned by a trust? Are you going to do any renovations? Have you updated the electrical, the plumbing? Has the occupancy status changed? So this is something you can send to a personalized client at renewal, 30 days ahead of renewal, to get an update on their circumstances. We have a renewal questionnaire for someone who has up to 5 homes. If they want to include life insurance, there's a form with life included. We have an auto evaluation. If you just write monoline auto for somebody and you want to get an update on their auto policy, there's a business risk evaluation. That's also similar to the annual personal risk, but it's all about business, general operations, real property review, commercial auto, business staffing, coverage assessment, so on and so forth. And we're constantly building new risk evaluations that are on our roadmap, but also from our clients' requests. Recently, we had a client ask us for a, watercraft hurricane preparedness plan. So this agency was in Florida. They do a lot of watercraft, and they needed a form that they could send as a smart form to a client to collect their hurricane preparedness plan. So we built that for them. The second type of forms we build are new policy forms. And new policy forms, as you might imagine, are used to gather information from prospects and clients for new risks. And one thing to note is that some of our forms are designed specifically to go to a current client, meaning we've removed some of those questions that are not, that we don't need to ask the client, like how did you hear about us? Things that we already know. So if you see the words current client after a form name, that form is designed to go specifically to a client. And the other forms are designed to go to a prospect. And so you see we have a lot of different, we have business owners like a BOP, a cyber liability, collector car, commercial product liability, condo, co-op, farm, health, life, flood. And then you see a lot of different homeowners forms. One that's specifically for California. It has earthquake and wildfire questions in it. We have a homeowners for current client. We have a Florida form that asks wind MIT questions and flood questions, and so on and so forth. Motorcycle, not-for-profit, personal excess. And then there's a lot of package forms, which we demonstrated earlier. Kidnap and ransom, yacht, watercraft, so on and so forth. And again, we are constantly building new forms all the time, either from our own roadmap or from our clients' suggestions. And the third type of form we build are service forms. Service forms take existing workflows like adding a new car to a policy. Client emails in, says, hey, I'm buying a new car today at 5 o'clock. What do you need from me? My workflow is just get the dealer's email address, go to the Share Forms library, type in vehicle, and we have a new vehicle dealer seller form. Okay, so I just click on that, pre-fill what I know about the client, hit agent save and continue, and send that to the dealer. The dealer fills it out with all the information. They upload a window sticker, they choose the lessor, and they tell you if they're replacing the car and their information. So you get it quickly because they want the binder and ID quickly as well. So it works very well for that. But there's lots of different service forms. We have claims forms for reporting claims for auto, for general, for business, for personal, for glass claims. So there's all different types of, there's a legal entity form if a person's entering, putting their home into a trust or an LLC. There's a mortgage information form to get the mortgagee information during a home sale. So there's all types of different forms. And again, we're constantly building new ones. Now, the nice thing about these forms is we're building the forms for our users. So yes, and I'm just about to answer that question. So our forms have the ability to be embedded in your website as though they are part of your website. And it's not currently turned on, but I'm going to do that. I just went to my account and edit profile. This is where you set up your profile. And we go through this in more detail in training, but here you can see smart form embedding. I'm going to turn that on, save the profile. And this is again for each individual person in the agency who has their form. So you can have an account related to the company. You can have an account related to every account manager, every producer, every claims person. So I'm going to go back to the Share Forms library. And now you see a little button here to embed. So you copy that code, give it to your developer, website developer, and they can put that form directly on your website. And it's a good point because these forms can be used really a lot of different places. I demonstrated you can use them in email to get information from a prospect. You could send it en masse to hundreds or thousands of clients just with entering that link in there. We had a user that did a campaign recently to upsell their clients on Umbrella from 5 million to 10 million. They sent the link to 400 clients and they got 50 people to click the link. So that is great for cross-selling, upselling, whatever the case is. You can put them on social media, on LinkedIn. If you want to do a push of flood insurance, you can take our flood form and put it on LinkedIn, and whoever clicks on it will be able to fill the form and give you information. So there's a lot of different ways to use these forms in the different workflows and to market different products. So great question. And I'm just looking at this other question. Okay, so yeah, it can go directly on the website, or you can, or the individual agent will use it in their own email. Okay. The other thing here is the group dashboard. On the group dashboard, if you're on an agency plan or above, you will have the ability to add additional users. Our agency plan gives you 10 users, enterprise gives you 25, and then we have additional plans above that to give thousands of users. But on the group dashboard, you'll be able to see some basic statistics, responses received this month, total remaining this month, and total since inception, and then how many seats you have filled. You can add a user by filling out this quick form, or you can send an invite to a user to ask them to set up their account. Or if you're sending it to 20 or 30 people at a time, you can just copy your group link, send an email to everybody at the same time with that link in it. They click the link and follow the steps to set up an account. The admin has the person who signs up first is the admin. They have the ability to view all of their agents and to view all of their responses. All of the sub agents do not have the ability to view anybody else's responses. Okay. And I see another question here. Yes. Thank you. Got it. Okay. And so let's see. I will go back to the Share Forms page now. And that is basically the gist of it. We build the forms and our users use the forms in many different creative ways. And one of the things we just also launched, which I wanted to mention here, is a proposal form. So we have these 3 types of forms, but one of the things that we're now starting to do is develop forms that convert into presentation of data. So gathering data has been what we've done, and now we're starting to do some presentation of data as well. So I wanted to briefly show you what that looks like. So gather the information through the form, and then when you're ready to create a proposal, this is what our proposal looks like. Cover page, you can do up to 2 homes. Each home has a home profile associated with it where you can put in risk management credits, portfolio discounts, property details, potential surcharges. There's a place for notes at the bottom. Here's the homeowners page again, 2 deductible options, the basic coverages. If there's additional coverages added, you can add those there. The valuable articles page looks like this, where you can do scheduled, blanket, single article, blanket coverage per item limit, and the premium for many different categories of items, the discounts. Here's what the auto page looks like. So you can do up to 5 cars on one proposal, and the basic coverage limits above. Watercraft page looks like this. And the excess liability looks like that. And then there's a premium summary at the end. And this form is available to our agency and enterprise users. And the way that would get filled out is you go to the forms library, type in proposal. it gives you the proposal form. Click on that link, and then you can come over here and start filling it out. You can upload your logo. You can choose which color you'd like the proposal, the cover page and the proposal to be. And then you choose the pages that you want to be included in that proposal. Once you're done filling that form, and again, throughout the form, we have these little check boxes that copy information from one section of the form to another to help streamline the process of creating the form. You hit submit. Once you hit submit, you will receive an email, same as the other ones, but this one will include the proposal form in it that you can then save to your hard drive, forward on to the client or prospect. Okay, so I'm going to end there, the presentation part, and now open it up for questions. And I know there's a question at the beginning that I will jump back to, and I'm going to sit here on the forms page so you can see some of the forms. Okay, so first question, are there any commercial forms or any in the works for expanding the product? Yes, so we have a lot of commercial forms. So, but you're right, 75% of our forms today are personal lines. We do have commercial product, a certificate of request, a commercial insurance declination form, and a COPE form to gather COPE information. We also have the BOP form that I mentioned, the cyber liability, and the business risk evaluation. We have a restaurant form as well, restaurant and bar insurance package. So with that one, you can get a lot of information about the restaurant, what type of restaurant it is, claims, losses, get information about the building, property, general liability, liquor liability, and workers' compensation, all in the same form. And we do have a workers' compensation form as well. Oops. So yes, we do have a lot of workers or a lot of commercial forms, and we're continuing to build more. Great question. Does this feed into a rating platform? If so, which ones is the next question. So we have, the integration we have today is with Zapier, which is an open API that does integrate with some of the raters. Easy Links is one of them. That's the only one I know of at this point. Otherwise, we do not integrate at this point with any of the raters. We are currently, our roadmap for the next year, 2022, is to work on some integrations. And we're working with a couple agency management systems and Accord to start that process as well. None of the raters at this point other than Easy Links. Good question. Is there a referral link that you can brand and share with COIs for them to provide to their clients? So if I'm reading this question correctly, a referral link. So some of our users have actually set their COIs up with a RiskRevu account. So they'll give their COI an account, their COI can then use the forms with their clients to gather information. So that's one use with the COI. Another usage that our users do is they pre-fill the form, send that to the COI will fill out what they know and then forward it on to the client. So some of our users do that with family offices and wealth managers. And if I'm not answering that question correctly, please let me know. But if you do give that COI their own RiskRevu account, they can brand that account with their logo and their picture. It's basically, they'll have their own profile. So say you give it to a family office, the family office can put their contact picture there, a background image there, and their logo here. So when a client fills out the form, it'll look like it's branded to that family office. If that makes sense. Okay. So let's, and then there's one other question. What is the cost and how many users can access for that? Great question. Thank you. Okay. And there's a couple of, do you offer? Okay. So cost, we have 3 plans currently that are listed on the website. An individual plan is $49 a month, and that gives you 10 responses per month. If you pay in full, you get a month for free. The agency plan gives you 10 users, and that's $249 per month. And that gives you 100 responses or form submissions per month. Again, if you pay in full for the year, you get a month free. And our enterprise plan gives you 25 users and unlimited submissions per month. So a lot of our agencies that do a lot of marketing and use our forms on their websites will use that plan. And that plan is $449 per month. And then above 25 users, we do have pricing as well. We just don't list it on the website. So let's see, do you offer any type of summary of coverage doc for annual renewals? No, but it's in the works. So definitely a summary of insurance is something that we are contemplating implementing in the next year. And the next proposal form that we are launching is going to be a side-by-side proposal where you can compare two insurance companies, whether it's the current versus proposed or last year versus this year, or current term versus future term. So that's in the works and should be available January of next year, of 2022. Are there opportunities to provide graphics cover page that are brand specific to our firm? Of course, within whatever parameters must be set. It's a great question. I assume you're talking about the proposal system. And in terms of just the cover page, I would say not at this time through RiskRevu. However, if you have Adobe Pro DC license, which is I think $15 or $16 a month, you can take your PDF of a cover page and combine it with our PDF. So then replacing our cover page with your cover page is as simple as that. So that's kind of a workaround for now, but that's that. Yes, okay, good, great. Any other questions? Please feel free to email me at Kurt, K-U-R-T, at riskrevu.com. That's RiskRevu.com. And feel free to check out our website as well for more information. And if you'd like to schedule a demo, you can do that through our website as well. And I'll stick around for a couple minutes if there's other questions. But otherwise, thank you for taking the time to take a look at RiskRevu today. I appreciate it and look forward to chatting with you sometime in the future. Have a great day. Would you run through sending the form to a client again? Yes, absolutely. Okay, no problem. Okay, so let me close some of these windows. And we have a section of the website called RiskRevu as well, RiskRevu University, where we have some help topics here, our smart form overview, some email templates, how to share our forms, how to pre-fill a form, so on and so forth. Okay, so going to my email, I'm going to start a new email, and I am going to use this template that I had up before. I'm going to put the client's email in here, subject, and I'm going to take this link out so we can redo it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to RiskRevu, and here's the dashboard, but I'm going to go to Forms, Share Forms, and I'm going to search for the form that I want. So say a client has emailed you and said, hey, Kurt, I'm buying a new home next week. What do you need from me? So I'm going to type in home, and here's all our home new policy forms. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to say, okay, they're not Florida, they're not California. I don't want a basic one, but it is a current client. So I'm going to use the current client homeowners insurance form. I'm going to copy that link. I'm going to go back to my email, Control V, paste it in, or if you want to get fancy, you can mask the link by typing in some words, hitting this insert link button, which is in Outlook as well. And then you mask the link by doing that. And then you send it to the client. Client gets the email, they click the link, and it brings them right to your form. And then they can start filling it out. The other way to do it is to pre-fill the form with some information. So you can go here and you can select put in some information. Okay. And then scroll all the way down to the bottom, hit Agent Save and Continue. Copy the link. Go back to your email. And then paste the saved form link into the email. And send that to the client. When the client receives that, they click the link, and it brings them right back to that saved form. Okay. I'm just checking to see if there's other questions. Great. Thank you, Rick. Great. Any other questions before we sign off here? Okay, here's a question. And thank you, Katie. How often do you get pushback from the client? And what are some common objections, if any, do you typically hear? I never get pushback. I have not gotten, I have over 1,000 submissions from the past 5 years of forms for me personally. My agency has over 3,000. And we don't get pushback. Clients like doing data gathering this way. They recognize that their time is worth something, our time is worth something. And just for simple questions like date of birth, address, so, that kind of stuff, they like filling out the form. And they also want to give us more information because they recognize when they give us more information, they're going to have a better product at the end of the day. When we as risk managers know, or agents know, that the information that we need, they're going to get a better product. So no, I don't get objections. People love it. And, sometimes I'll be on the phone and I give them the option. I say, do you want to give me the information now, or do you want me to send you the form? And they say, let's do it on the phone. And then I just fill out the form with them over the phone. So I do it as we're doing the conversation. So it helps guide that conversation. So, which is helpful. In a lot of cases, there might be a line of business I'm not very familiar with, like watercraft. I don't do a lot of that. And so I just pull up the form, or yacht. I pull up the form and then I go through and ask the questions as they appear on the form. So it's very helpful in that way too. It's good for training new account managers, new producers, so on and so forth. Good question. Thank you.